How it feels gaslighting yourself into thinking that spoiler you saw wasn't real? I don't care about spoilers, and I'm never going to. This Bible verse always keeps me going. Lunch, 11:35. Ah, that's great. Introverts preparing to say here during attendance. It's kind of funny how easy it is to screw up saying one word. A singular word. Choose a major you love and you'll never work a day in your life because that field isn't hiring. And it never will be. Of course he's licking his lips. I mean, yeah, it's a match made in heaven. Fat orange cat, big ass tray of lasagna, okay? Duh. That guy was right. Do you think he wrote Garfield based on like actual observations with like a childhood animal? Nostalgia be like 2014, 2024. Why advertising falls flat with individuals with autism? What if a certain mindset and disability made you a savvier consumer? Average autistic experience of seeing ads for even like 5 seconds? Yeah, I don't think no one likes ads. You don't have to be on the spectrum to hate ads and think they're all here to waste our time and take away from the human experience, which is what they do. How I feel feeding information to both sides of the beef? Well, I guess that's a you problem, man. I don't like being in the middle of any of that shit because that again takes away from the human experience. I don't need negativity or toxicity in my life, let alone being a part of it. I don't want to be a part of any of it. But thank you very much. You can go ahead and be the villain of the story here. Sometimes this just isn't enough. I need it lower. Sweetheart, then put it down and go the f to bed. How smokers be looking at you when you tell them to smoke outside or at least open the windows. Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, it's your addiction. It's your vice. Get it the f out of my house with it. Get away from me with it. I did not ask to smoke your cigarette. But if you're within 30 feet of me, that's exactly what's going to be happening. And that should not be my problem, okay? Like, addiction or not. Let's say you're not. Let's say it's not a problem. I don't care. I don't want it near me, all right? And that goes with vape, too. Get it the shit away from me. Or you know what, better yet? You stay there. If you're going to be weird about it, I'm leaving, because I don't want to be around somebody that would get offended or pissed off that I don't want them to smoke a fucking cigarette next to me. Yet another unrealistic body expectation for women. I don't see how this is unrealistic at all. Like, just ladies, come on. Maybe this is what you should be striving for specifically. You know what I mean? Teachers seize disco equipment from 12-year-old boy who hosted rave in the school toilets. I don't know why they needed to seize that. Just let him do it once a week. Just once a week as long as he's doing well, right? I feel like that's fair. There is a labor shortage. Apply for job, not hiring. I do think it's fantastic that they get to do this. They get to waste hours and hours and hours and hours of our time by lying about hiring. There's no way it's a conspiracy that all they're doing is lying about needing workers so that they can train their company's AI bullshit. That's exactly what they're doing. I fully believe in that one at this point. No, you are not hiring. You just want to waste my time as some form of bullshit retaliation because I demand that you pay me an appropriate amount for the work that you are demanding I do in exchange. It's very, very simple. And man, some of these places got to get toppled, dog. My kid who just talked for 27 straight minutes about Minecraft, listening to me tell a 30-second anecdote from my childhood. Well, that's a kid, so shut the fuck up. Traffic cops don't have time to check fake money. I don't know what you will do with this information. What? Do you know how good fake money has to be for you not to immediately recognize that it's fake? I'm not even talking visually. I'm talking from like a texture standpoint. Here in the United States, that paper is under lock and key for very specific reason. That shit's basically just cotton at this point. There is a feeling to it. You don't need to eyeball it with a magnifying glass to understand, this is incredibly fake. So you know what? Go ahead and bribe the traffic cop with fake money and see just how much faster you get a different type of ticket entirely. Go ahead, please, I beg of you. And you know what? Come back and post on Reddit with the results, if you get out soon. How silly of me to forget how far I've come just because I still have far to go. Well, it's kind of hard not to do that. It's kind of hard not to forget about things that were a long time ago. Things happen so gradually. Of course, it's going to be dramatic when you look back on it in many, many years, because it's going to feel like you teleported. That's why everyone says, oh, how fast time moves. It's not that it moves fast. We just look at it very weird, you know? But it is nice to stop and recognize where you used to be, you know? I try to do that as often as I can, but like a lot of people, I'm also forgetting. My dad with a fish / my dad with me. Okay. Me in every stressful situation. Oh, jeez. please, what the hell? Okay, all right, this guy is stuck in a loop. Okay, there we go. He took a deep breath and he got out of there. Thank goodness. I was afraid we were going to see it run across the highway the other direction and get exploded. And if that happened, I was going to be upset. So I'm glad I didn't see something that was going to make me very, very sad and maybe a little mad. When you're an adult and now have to go to the doctors alone, nothing wrong with that. I would much rather go to the doctors alone than be there with like my mom or something like that, where my anxiety levels are riding higher because, I don't know, maybe she's projecting something onto me. I feel like parents do that quite a lot. I think a lot of people do that. I'm already anxious enough about my health. I don't need someone else there making me more anxious about my health by trying to diagnose me based on something they Googled or otherwise. I would rather go alone entirely. Don't need you. How I look at someone when they ask what I'm doing, but they can clearly see what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know, f me for talking to you, I guess. What was I supposed to say? Some weather. Did you see that ludicrous display last night? That's a nice cock you got there, bro. How I look at the flight attendant during snack time so they know I'm awake and would like a cookie. A cookie? Who the hell are you flying with where you get a cookie? I don't get anything anymore. The last time I flew with anyone, nothing was free anyway, and if it was probably a bag of little mini pretzels on Southwest or some shit like that, okay? When your alarm hasn't gone off yet, but the amount of sleep you're getting is suspicious. I wonder how many people have stolen this exact joke. You know, it's one of those things you see on Twitter like a decade ago, and then eventually people start to go, it's been long enough, I think I can get away with taking this and making it my own. Professor, when will we ever use this? On the next exam. Yeah, exactly. Look, I understand maybe the point of view that some kids go through where they're asking about like everyday life. What am I gonna need this for when I am an adult doing everyday things? And to be honest with you, most of it, you're not going to ever use in everyday life. I've never had to pull out geometry to get anything done. Although I will say that's like, I could never pass geometry. I tried like 3 times in a row. Could not do it. You know, just write me off, whatever. You aren't. It's the building blocks to build your brain up so that when you get to adulthood, you're not hopelessly lost. These things are all to help your brain as it forms so that you're not insane when you're older or falling behind, or you have the ability to keep up, essentially. If your brain is constantly being filled with information like this, it's going to grow differently than if you're locked in a closet for 20 years. You know what I mean? Nobody is more stressed than a 19 to 25-year-old thinking they're running out of time. Try being a 29-year-old who thinks he's running out of time and might be right. Do you know someone with kids? Do you hate that person? I think this is a good way to end up on... Never mind, I don't even have the energy. This entire video has been completely re-recorded. The genie watching me sit on the couch with all 3 of my childhood pets. That's the sort of thing where the genie might give you a bonus one. You know, like, I get it. You know what? Another one on me. How about that? One singular freebie, Mr. Genie. Although I'm going to be honest with you, remember, genies can't bring anyone back from the dead, okay? And I don't think I'd want to see my childhood pets back from the dead and all that entails. So be careful. Dog, I think I spoke English a little bit too much that I forgot what the words mean in my own language. Right on. I mean, I hope that works out for you. When someone's phone screen is a picture of themselves, I've never seen that. Are you just making that up so that you have a reason to be pissy? Are you just doing that? I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm pretending that you're doing it to be a jerk, and in that regard, it's making me a jerk. But like, I have literally never in my life, and again, this is all anecdotal, but I'm the host of the show, so duh, who else is it going to be anecdotally related to? I've never, ever seen anybody do that. Never even once. I don't know anybody that's insane enough to do that. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I would. Y'all not real haters. I mean, I guess it depends on what the hell we're going through, you know? And I don't have a worst enemy. I don't. I feel like it shouldn't be normal to have a personal worst enemy. That's weird and strange. I mean, we're not living Hollywood movie lives, so what the hell are you talking about? You're not in some Lindsay Lohan rom-com from 20 years ago, dog. You're clocking in and out at, you know, your job. What do you mean? I'll never understand that. My worst enemy. I mean, I know that us as people, we all have a common enemy, but I do not have a nemesis because I'm not Spider-Man, right? And neither are you. Unhated Insects annual meeting. We're missing a couple here. Ladybug. Come on. You can't forget the ladybug, and if you did, you're mean, all right? The roly-poly. Nobody dislikes the roly-poly, okay? The little pill bug. Absolutely love those guys. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're not missing some. Dragonflies can get the hell away from me. They're cool as shit, no doubt. out, but get away. Yep, there's ladybug. We got bumblebees. Thank goodness. We got honeybees. Also, thank goodness. And lightning bugs. Yes, okay? Are there any more we want to add? Stop being lazy. Me showing clear symptoms of mental illness? Yeah, but then they'd have to actually, put in some more effort on their relationship with you, and they don't want to do that. I'm generalizing to be a smartass. Of course, good parents do that, but if you're a shit parent, this is how you act with your kids. You never actually, try to help them out. You just go, you're a lazy piece of shit and your room is dirty. Maybe if you went outside in the sunshine, which I don't allow you to do, you might feel less depressed. POV. My mom is locked outside because she forgot her keys. Me wondering why the lion in my dream is screaming my name. What do you do for a living? I do my best. I don't. Trust me. Doing your best is a good way to get more work for the same pay. Or maybe even for less. It really depends. Realizing in 20 years I'll probably be up to some boomer stuff like, no son of mine's marrying an AI chatbot. Marriage is between two humans only. And my kids will be like, Dad, you're so robophobic. No, I don't think we're going to get to that point. I think we're going to have significantly worse things to worry about than us being robophobic. It's going to get hairy. It's going to get real hairy. We're going to make it through. That much I do know, and that much I've always had confidence in. But as it stands right now, things are going to get real crazy. Depression leaving my body when someone says, others have it harder than you. I have never had anybody unironically say that to me because I think most of the people I know aren't completely insane, because that is an insane statement to say anyway. Sure, it is true. So many people out there have it way, way, way harder than I ever will, realistically speaking. But you don't get to take my feelings away. That's not going to negate how I feel or my life. We are all people with our own individual experiences, okay? So someone else having it worse does not immediately take away from what I am experiencing now. And if you think it does, go f yourself and don't ever talk to me again. First rule of group hangouts: never suggest a movie unless you've already seen it. You'll be the only one paying attention. I kind of like to screen movies before I show them to people anyway, because I don't want to... I've had those experiences where you show off something that, it seems cool. You've seen the trailers, you like the look of it, but then when you watch it, you're the only one that enjoyed it, and it just feels crappy, It can feel kind of sucky being the odd one out. I enjoyed it. Well, the rest of us did not. I always want to make sure that it's not too rough. It's a weird way to live, and I don't like it. Neo, wake up from your comfy office job and active social life. You're a human battery, Neo. Come live in a cave with us and eat porridge slop. Yeah, that was kind of the entire point of The Matrix. There's an entire scene in the goddamn Matrix that sort of pokes not fun at this idea, but brings that up. The guy that sells out all of these dudes to get put back into the Matrix as a rich guy, Ignorance is bliss. Duh. Nice, it's already 5 p.m. Only 40 years left. Hey, I don't know. This guy has a much better job than I ever had before EmKay. Like pre-EmKay days, this guy was way better. And I did work in an office cubicle. Guaranteed. This dude has one of those fake jobs where he just sends emails all day but gets paid 90 grand a year, all right? More than I've ever made, by the way. And, I don't know, he doesn't have to do this shit in his bedroom. Wow, what are you cooking? That smells really good starter pack. You mean using ingredients you should pretty much always use? I don't care what you're making. You're making an ice cream sundae? Yeah, that's right. Get some olive oil and garlic in that bad boy. We need it to smell good in here. I don't understand why bugs have to come inside when they got the whole outside. What I've never understood is how they can, with pinpoint precision accuracy, get in when a door is open or otherwise, right? But they will never be able to find their way back out. I could take the entire roof off of the house and throw it a mile away, and they'd still be smacking into goddamn windows. Living with your parents versus living on your own. I don't know how I feel about this one. That guy's gone through a lot. Just feels strange, But I get what you mean. I see the joke for sure, but he's come a long way, and I think we're all proud of Macaulay. Me driving to work realizing I gotta do this for another 15 years. Is it 40 or is it 15, dog? Which one is it? Which one is it? How old are you? You've only got 15 years left? Well, I got 50. Prom, all year, blah, 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 blah. Even when I manage to join conversations, I get left out. Day before prom. Hey, are you going to the prom? Prom equals loud music, loud people, drinks, stay up late, spending hours alone. No? Why would I? Too bad. We would have been together one last time. You mean gather in the same building and ignore me one last time? What? This looks like it's teetering on, I'm 14 and this is deep. There's no, deep meaning here. But, it just kind of feels like that, It gives off that vibe. That's right. You're the cool guy who doesn't want to stay up late. I do understand. I was ignored by everybody other than my actual friends. I had actual friends that I can pinpoint and still talk to this day. We've all experienced, I guess, some form of this, I suppose. But, I don't know. The way this thing is done up, it just, again, feels kind of I'm 14 and this is deep adjacent, I should say. Nutritionist, your diet is bad. Dentist, you're brushing wrong. Friends, your life's a mess. Rum store guy, excellent choice. You mean to tell me there is a rum store out there that I could be going to? I'm just kidding, I'm never going to drink hard liquor ever again, all right? I've already had my time with strong alcohol, and while I do still drink more than I definitely should, I am trying, and at least one boundary that I have been able to keep set for a really long time is that mixed drinks or not, I'm not touching liquor ever again as long as I live. That shit is so much worse than a few beers at the end of the day. Russian roulette, but that I used to know, or anxiety. Okay, well, I will say Spotify's shuffle sucks ass, so I do wonder how it's gonna lean here, because in my experience with Spotify's regular shuffle, it will basically only play music that I've played a certain amount of times. Like if I add 30 tracks to one of my favorites playlists right now, my shuffle won't shuffle in a single goddamn one of those until I've listened to each one like 20 times. It's getting really obnoxious. Dragging the corpse of my once passionate self. Yes, I think a lot of us can relate to that. Very much so. It is a relatable feeling, being treated like, at least at one point, like you had some interesting future ahead of you in high school and getting hit with some kind of realization later on. Me pretending to need something else at the store until the person moves out of the way of the stuff I actually need. Yeah, I do that a lot. Generally what I do these days, though, is rather than just kind of stand around and look at something nearby, I'll just go and get another thing that I need and then come back. And I know what you're thinking. Just ask them to move. I don't know. Look, they get their turn. I'll have my turn eventually. I will say there's been like one experience I've had where I've come back like 3 times over the course of 20 minutes and that motherfucker is still in the goddamn way. So at that point I'll ask. But I don't know, look, they get their turn. I'll have my turn, okay? This is a society we're living in. How being sick feels like, Yeah, absolutely. You're right. This might be one of the most accurate representations of any kind of illness. Me sitting at the children's table during a family party. You don't know shit about Pokemon. Me neither. That's your turf, man. You want to learn more about Alan Wake? You come my way. How my neck feels when I'm trying not to cry. Always wondered what the hell is going on in your throat when you're like choking back tears. What am I flexing down there? Or rather, what is involuntarily being flexed? This is my little baby cousin, and he's dressed as a smoke detector for Halloween. None of us know why, but he's really obsessed with smoke detectors. That's all he's asked for in any way of presents these past 2 years. He calls them smoke detectors. Also, he has a scrapbook of everyone in the family posing with their smoke detectors. I know I've said it before, but as a very young child, my thing was fans, like desktop fans, pedestal fans. I built my own fan. I didn't build like the motor, I just put together one in a wooden box and used that as a kid. I don't know why I was obsessed with them, right? These days, as an adult, I have a strong obsession with air purifiers, which I know I've mentioned really recently, right? I watch the channel House Fresh all the time, and I don't know what it is, but that's my current, hyperfixation that no one else gives a crap about but you, but for some strange reason, you actually don't care and don't feel weird that you like this thing to a crazy extent. Look, the hyperfixations will follow you into adulthood. They will, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever let anybody call you weird or strange or make you feel dumb because you have a hyperfixation on something that is completely inert and, I guess meaningless, Like, who the hell is this kid hurting by thinking snow detectors are cool as hell? Because, quite frankly, there are. And when he learns about the different types of snow detectors, he's gonna absolutely take off, okay? Work 8 hours a day, get paid. Studying, be on 5 different courses, each using a different platform and tools. After getting home from campus, study more and work on assignments. Exams, group projects, labs, reports, group projects, presentations, keeping diaries. Messy schedule, different deadlines every single week. Be in debt and barely able to afford food. And that debt is probably going to last, and this is probably just the American in me talking, the rest of your f***ing life with absolutely no sense of reprieve, because unless you are going into cardiothoracic surgery as some kind of specialty or whatever, paying those loans off might not be frickin' possible. Although I will say people that do go into medicine to that extent will probably have $500,000 worth of student loans versus $80,000 to $150,000 worth of student loans. So it's gonna still take them a long time to pay it off until they're making a nice crisp $600,000 a year or something crazy like that, right? It seems like the entire system is stacked against us in every imaginable way. Can you sense what could be coming? Me looking at the 0 notifications I'm receiving because I've isolated myself and ruined all of my relationships. Yeah, I'm getting close to that. Everything just kind of annoys me. I see any notification now. I don't have to see who it's from. As a matter of fact, my phone is face down on my desk right now, and if I hear it, I'll just tell it to shut the fuck up. That's what I'll do. I'll hear that notification, and my reaction is, oh, shut up, you know? I'll eventually look and respond. But I'm starting to get real overwhelmed, you know? Oh, poor me. People want to talk to me. How terrible. Why would anybody want to talk to me? Gross. Go away. When you ask your dog what the hell they're eating and they start chewing faster, I feel like kids do this too. Am I right? Slaps roof of my brain. This bad boy can fit so many intrusive thoughts in it. That's all mine's good for, man. It doesn't really store anything of use. And even then, it doesn't even store stuff I desperately want it to because I'm interested. Mom's at level 9,718. Candy Crush developers. We're done when I say we're done. Do I actually want it, or do I want others to see that I have it? That is an excellent goddamn question people should be asking about anything they're hyperfixated on purchasing, right? I totally wasted money on something recently, I think in the last few months, where if I had asked myself this question, I probably would not have purchased it and spent that $200 on something a little bit different. I still have it. I'll still get use out of it when I see it or even remember that I have it because it's currently hanging on a coat rack behind my clothes or behind my coats, duh. But yeah, that's the sort of mindset I would like to have about stuff. You know, do I need the more expensive camera because I think it'll look cooler? Or do I need it because it's actually better? You know, something like that. It's a good question to ask if you've ever just been pining for something. I was born in 2017. Sounds so fake, bro. Nobody borns that late. You're right. I believe births were cut off at 2009. Anything past that was not illegal, and we have had to give them different birth years so that we can make our fragile egos a little less fragile. TV came with a whole living room set. Okay, wait, hang on. You might be a genius. You might be the type of genius we all strive to be, which is insane. Bravo. I never would have even, like, as a joke thought of this. What in the world? I mean, look, your coffee table's kind of cute. I don't know about the couch, though. I think you should try sleeping on that thing, you know, or just flopping down on it and see what happens. When a movie character gets trapped underwater and you're trying to see if you would have survived, I don't think I would have survived almost any scene in any movie, period, where they're having to hold their breath and do something crazy. Currently, the first one that pops into my head, it's a terrible movie, but Resident Evil Afterlife, I want to say. I think that's the fourth one, where there is a moment where the characters have to swim underwater to get to a prison's armory. And I've tried that one a few times. It just, no, it doesn't work. I'm trying to think if there's any other breath-holding scenes that I have managed to actually make it through. And you know what? This is a perfect moment for the comments, actually. If you guys can remember a movie that you made a breath-holding sequence through, if you made it through one, please let us know. How long was it? Also, really quick, before the video ends, I just wanted to make a quick address to everybody. If you're concerned about me, no need to be. I promise. My job is to be a smartass. It's to be snarky. It's to be angry. It's to be funny. It's to be silly. I try to do all of these things as often as I can, and I don't want anybody to ever worry and think that I'm actually losing my mind. I know that I posted a video over on my personal channel a couple of weeks ago called EmKay and Burnout, where I wanted to stress that it does get difficult sometimes, you know? But I recognize that overall, this is not hard for me. I can do this. I will continue to push through and past without much issue, despite, you know, feeling very burnt out on this. I just want people to understand that I am overall okay. You should go and check that video out if you want me to wax poetic a little bit on my time here at EmKay. My YouTube channel is just called Robin Nelson. You can very, very easily find me. And if you are worrying about my aggression levels getting a little too high, don't worry. I've understood that many times. I've seen people like get really concerned about how mad I do get. And to be fair, I will get incredibly furious at stuff that demands that level of fury, like the inequalities in the world and all sorts of horrible things that are going on. But 99% of the time, I'm just being a silly little scamp, okay? So don't you worry. Don't you worry, kids. I'm just a smartass. I'm a jester. I'm a joker. I'm a midnight toker. That is my job. That is why I was brought here to EmKay. And I just want to sign off by saying I appreciate that you've let me stay here over 5 years.